Panchayat leaders are being systematically targeted, and especially Panchayat leaders of a particular political party. What explains this selective silence on the killing of Panchayat leaders? Joining me on the show, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh. He's former Kashmir Corps commander, someone who served extensively in Jammu and Kashmir, and Ifra Jan. Ifra Jan is a very young Kashmiri rights activist. General Singh, if I may begin with you, do you see a Pakistan hand or a Pakistani plot in the killing of Panchayat leaders in Kashmir? If so, why?
Definitely. I think it's a clear indication of desperation and of the Pakistan army, ISI, and the terrorist group, which is showing on the ground. Because if you analyze these killings which have happened recently, they are targeted, they are pre-planned, they are specific, and they categorically targeted the young leadership which is coming up as a alternative leadership which is we are seeing coming from the ground, from the very ground level. This is the alternative leadership which is going to take the valley, take the Jammu and Kashmir area into peace and development. In fact, they are motivated and they can clearly see that this is a great opportunity to bring in the peace and the development which is required. They have, the Awam has suffered for last 30 years.
Fair
and
enough.
These youth have understood one thing, that they have to take the new direction which the strategic opportunity has provided to them. But behind this, all these killings, I think
is
a
that
clear
why
hand
they are
of
being targeted? Okay, let me bring in Ifra Jan. Ifra Jan, is there a fear that grassroots politics, Panchayat leaders, they may become very strong, and if they do, then entrenched interests of decades will lose power? Is that the reason why Panchayat leaders are being targeted, and we see rather disappointing selective silence on these killings?
You see, unfortunately, Mr. Sawant, this is nothing new, because 8,000 political workers working on ground as sarpanches, political workers, poll booth workers of PDP and NC have been killed in past 20 years. So the one thing we can say is that just the abrogation of 370 has not changed anything, and political leaders on ground continue to be killed. The question is, these 8,000 workers of PDP and NC who sacrificed their lives for democracy in Jammu and Kashmir, today all of us come and tell them that you are anti-national, you guys are traitors. So we humiliate their leaders, we put them in detention without a charge. So let's ask ourselves this question again: who really killed democracy in Jammu and Kashmir? And as far as, you know, now we can at least conclude and come to a fact that abrogation of 370 has not changed anything on ground. And forget everything, BJP is not ready to give security to its own party members.
How you've come to that conclusion. That's a very pertinent point to raise, and let me take that question to General Gurmeet Singh. General, would you buy that argument that abrogation of Article 370 didn't bring peace in the valley, and the fact that if the BJP cannot even protect its own Panchayat leaders, it's in power at the center? Amit Shah is the Union Home Minister, somebody who says oxygen ke liye jaan de denge, and we are unable to save lives in Kashmir.
Gaurav, I think it's immaterial whether, I would say that to have a perspective like this, that NC or PDP or naming the political party, after all, if anyone from the Awam is killed in this scenario, I think the losses are losses of the Awam, losses of the nation. The perspectives after 5th August 2019, after abrogation of Article 370, have totally changed. There's an environment of new direction which is required. It's a strategic shift into the new arena, and still carrying a old mindset, old mold of thinking will not do good. In fact, I would say, to be very honest, the killing of these young leaders at the moment is shocking and sad. I think we need to carry out a security review, and we got to provide them foolproof and round the
Yes.
clock security. I think that's one area where we have to concentrate. But one
Fair
thing
enough.
is definite, that alternative leadership, which
Not
is
just
coming
that,
up,
General, if I
absolutely
may, with due respect, not only provide them security, but hunt down their killers and destroy that ecosystem that gives protection to the killers, because that's very important. We cannot have that siege mentality. We cannot barricade ourselves. We need to go out on the hunt and kill these elements who are killing these panchayat leaders. But Ifra Jan, there is this argument that panchayat leaders, money from the center is now coming straight to panchayat leaders. They are deciding how that money will be spent for the betterment of the people in Kashmir. They decide kahan sadak banegi, kahan kuan khudega, where development activity has to take place, what schools have to come up, and the entrenched interests of decades are feeling weak, and that is why we see this selective silence.
I don't know if you're actually arguing for a complete erosion of federal system in India. If you're saying that, CPI in Kerala, Yogi Adityanath's government in Uttar
How?
Pradesh, let's do away with all state
How do you
governments
come
and
to
let's
that
just put
conclusion when
money
I'm
straight
talking
to
about strengthening
Then how
Panchayat?
do you
I'm
really,
sorry. I'm sorry. You cannot be allowed to make such, no.
Then
I'm
how
talking
do
about
you
strengthening
say that
Panchayati
one-
Raj. How does Panchayati Raj weaken federal structure?
Yeah, it doesn't really weaken federal structure, but when you're saying, look, we are sending money straight to Panchayat, sure, but there is a huge administrative failure in the state if you look at it, because we have an administrative vacuum in the state, because one huge pillar of administration is missing. So Panchayat is doing what it can do, but it cannot replace the state government. And I would want to
Panchayat-
tell you that for this year, Panchayat leaders have actually, most of them have actually been in safe locations. Some of them like Rajbagh, and most of them have not been able to do their work because of the security situation, which BJP has not been able to improve.
And
Hardly
that is
any
where
of them
the
live in
state,
villages.
absolutely, that is where the state needs to come in. You're absolutely right, Ifra Jan. That's where the state needs to step in and give a wider secure environment for the people of Jammu and Kashmir to be able to get development and not be in that siege mentality.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.